You ever think about, like, what happens when power starts shifting in ways you don't expect?
Yeah,
Especially in places we think we know, like the government.
right.
I'm talking about, what if someone not even in the government, their choices start affecting how the whole thing runs? It
Hmm.
really makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
Like, who's really in charge?
Okay,
And where's the line between private power and the government?
exactly. When you hear about one person maybe messing with all these different federal agencies, you got to ask, like, what's the deal?
Right. And that's what we're going to get into today.
Okay.
We've been looking at this YouTube video from the Ring of Fire, and they make some pretty big claims about Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, about how he might be getting more and more control over parts of the U.S. government.
Wow.
We're not here to say if it's true or not,
Yeah, of course.
but we got to understand what they're saying
Yeah.
and what it could mean for all of us.
Makes sense. What are they saying exactly?
So they focus on three things. First, there's this whole thing about a supposed lockout at the Office of Personnel
The
Management.
PM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, saying that X, Twitter,
Oh,
is
yeah.
the only place they're going to make official announcements from now on.
Mm.
And then the biggest one,
Yeah.
this claim that Musk can see data from the Treasury Department.
Whoa.
Let's unpack that first one.
Okay.
The OPM thing.
Right.
The video talks about this situation where these aides of Elon Musk, and the guy in the video really makes a point of saying they don't seem to actually work for the government or anything, supposedly locked career civil servants out of the OPM offices,
What?
like the actual offices,
Seriously.
and their computer systems.
Wow.
Locked them out.
Crazy. So what is OPM exactly? I feel like I should know this.
Yeah, it's basically the HR department for the whole federal government.
Oh, okay.
They handle all the hiring, the benefits, retirement, all that stuff for millions of federal employees.
So, like the people who keep the government running.
Exactly. So if someone messes with them, even if it's just an allegation,
Yeah.
it could really screw things up for all of us.
Right.
The video gives a couple of reasons why this might have happened.
Okay.
One is that it was on purpose.
Like a power play.
Right.
Yeah.
These Musk guys just decided to do it.
Bold move.
The other reason is kind of funny.
What is it?
Well, they say maybe it was an accident because of Musk's gross computer incompetence.
Oh,
They
man.
bring up all the problems Twitter had after he bought it.
I mean, yeah, there were some issues.
So they're basically saying either he meant to do it.
Or messed it up.
Yeah. But the main point they make is that this whole thing shows Musk overstepping authority that he doesn't even technically have.
Right.
They keep saying he doesn't have an official government job.
No mandate.
Yeah. No mandate. So I got to ask you,
Yeah.
how weird would it be for people not even working for the government to be involved in the security of a place like OPM?
That's super weird. Yeah, federal agencies, they've got all these strict rules and security measures.
Right.
And you can't just waltz in.
No.
Only authorized people can get into those offices and their computers.
Right.
So if someone outside the government was messing around with that stuff, it would be a huge deal.
Red flags everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Okay,
So that brings us to the second claim.
right.
The NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board,
I know them.
saying that they'll only use X, that's Twitter now, to make their official announcements,
Oh, yeah.
especially about airline safety and investigations.
Hmm.
And the video points out that this happened right after a really bad plane crash.
Oh, man.
For people who don't know, the NTSB investigates transportation accidents of all kinds.
Right.
And they figure out how to make things safer.
Yeah.
Planes, trains, cars, everything.
Important stuff.
Super important.
Yeah.
So their work affects everyone's safety, especially when we travel. So the video says the NTSB said, from now on, if you want to know about safety stuff, you got to go to our X account.
Only X.
That's it. No other options.
Interesting.
So they're arguing that this forces everyone to rely on a platform owned by Elon Musk, even people who don't use it or don't trust it, to get this crucial information.
I see their point.
Like, what if you need to know about a safety issue, but you don't have X?
Yeah.
And even bigger, can a government agency say that the only way to get their info is through a private company?
That's a good question. Are there any other examples of the government doing something like this?
Well, the video talks about the legal side of things.
Okay.
They think someone's going to sue over this and win.
Really?
Their argument is that a government agency can't legally say you have to use a platform owned by a private company.
Makes sense.
Like, it could be seen as violating open government principles and people's right to access information.
I mean, that sounds like a potential overreach.
Yeah. And it shows how much the government relies on private companies these days.
That's true. More and more, they're using these platforms to do their work.
It's efficient.
Yeah.
They can reach more people.
Right.
But then you have these issues of data privacy and, like in this case, making sure everyone can get the information.
Definitely something to think about.
Okay, now for the big one.
The Treasury Department.
Yeah, this is where the video gets really serious.
Okay.
They say that Elon Musk has access to, is currently going through the files of the people working at the Federal Treasury and also the files of pretty much anyone who deals with the Treasury.
Hold on.
Think about that for a second.
Like everyone who pays taxes.
Basically.
That's a massive claim.
It's huge.
What kind of information are we talking about here?
They list out all this stuff. Names, addresses, mortgage appraisals, details about Medicaid and Medicare payments, Social Security payments.
Whoa.
All that personal and financial information for tons of Americans.
That's a lot of sensitive data.
The guy in the video even says all of this private data for damn near every single American citizen.
Wow, they're not holding back.
No. They want to make it clear how serious this is.
I get it. So from your experience, how is data like that usually protected at the Treasury?
Well, they have really strict security protocols.
Okay.
And there are laws and regulations about who can see that data and when.
Right.
So for a private citizen to have access to all of that with no clear legal reason,
That'd be a huge breach.
it would be a major problem.
Yeah.
And then the video brings up TikTok.
Okay.
They talk about all the worries about TikTok getting user data.
Right.
And they say it's hypocritical to freak out about a foreign company doing it, but not be concerned about an American citizen allegedly doing the same thing.
That's a good point. It's all about data privacy, no matter who's doing it.
Exactly. And this is where they start using some strong words.
Like what?
They say this situation is like an oligarchy.
Oligarchy.
Yeah.
So like rule by a small group of powerful people?
In this case, they're saying it's the richest man on the planet who has unparalleled control over the federal government.
Wow.
And he didn't get elected or confirmed by anyone.
Right.
So they're painting a picture of one person having way too much power.
And no one to hold him accountable.
Exactly. The video ends with this feeling of, like, we're screwed.
Yeah, I kind of felt that too.
There's this alarm, this helplessness.
Like, what can we even do?
That's the vibe they're putting out there.
It's important to remember that this is just one perspective.
Of course.
It's their interpretation of the situation.
Right.
But it brings up some important questions.
Definitely.
But you should always look at different sources and make up your own mind.
Absolutely. So let's recap what the Ring of Fire said.
Okay.
Number one, the alleged lockout at the OPM by people connected to Elon Musk.
Uh-huh.
Number two, the NTSB saying they'll only use X for their announcements.
Right.
And number three, the claim that Musk has access to a ton of sensitive data from the Treasury Department. We got to be clear. We didn't investigate any of this ourselves.
Right.
We're just explaining what the video said.
Their opinions, their claims.
Exactly. So now I have a question for you all listening.
Okay.
What does all of this mean for how our government works in this digital age? If these claims are true, what happens to government transparency?
Yeah.
What about the security and privacy of our personal information?
Big questions.
And what about the role of these big tech companies?
Right. Like, are they becoming too involved in our government and our information systems?
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
So go do some digging, see what you find, and make up your own mind.
Good advice.